Today we are going to draw these kinds of koi carp. Let's begin. The fish are positioned diagonally from each other. So here was the head of one and here will be the head of the other. Today we are going to draw these kinds of koi carp. Let's begin. The fish are positioned diagonally from each other. Here was the head of one and here will be the head of the other. The bodies are arranged like this. Here we'll have the tail. First, we carefully mark the exact spot on the canvas where the head will be positioned. The eyes will be placed right here in the center of the face to ensure proper symmetry. Next, we begin to gently outline the shape of the snout a bit more clearly, adding depth and structure to the character's profile. And as we continue this process, we make sure every line is perfectly aligned with our initial sketch to create a realistic foundation for the rest of the features we are about to draw. We begin by carefully outlining the entire silhouette of our fish's body, ensuring the curves are smooth and natural. Here, just after we place the eye, we need to narrow the frame a bit to define the head, and then we gradually widen it again as we move toward the midsection. Please make sure to do the exact same thing on the opposite side here to maintain perfect symmetry throughout the sketch. It might be helpful to turn the paper over. When you draw like this, it's easier to understand. Next in the process, we add the ingredients. Flip the paper, draw like this. Eyes narrow here, widen there. Now add the tail. There will be little bones here, and on the second fish as well. They try to be identical. Perfect. Next, add the fins. They should be even. Add small bones here. They needn't be identical. Perfect. Next, add the side fins. Furthermore, they will also possess these very sharp, tiny little protective spines on their bodies, and one right here, near the tail on the back. They will also have these little bones drawn in. Here, we can round these off a bit more. And finally, we can add some spots. You can place them in a random order. Here, for example, and here. That's how it looks, as if they go further here along the back. And finally, you can add spots. You can do it in a random order, here for example, and here. This is a distinctive feature of the carp, and we can just carefully erase parts of our initial pencil sketch a bit to better define the outline of our final drawing and effectively highlight the most important main points, ensuring the composition looks clean and professional. Erase our sketch. Start by drawing eyes, detailing carefully. We also draw the second eye, add the pupil and shade it in with a pencil. We shade in the pupil with a pencil. The second eye, here as well. We add the pupil and shade it in with a pencil. We outline the eyelid. Here we will carefully illustrate the skeletal structure. On this little flask, we also lightly outline the foundational base. Once again, we are utilizing the exact same fundamental elements as before. In addition to those, we are carefully incorporating the structural bones into the framework and meticulously filling in every single one of the remaining empty spots to ensure the entire composition is complete and visually consistent throughout the process. And now I really want to add another distinct spot right over here in this corner. Following that, we are going to draw the second fish in exactly the same way as the first one. We will start the process by carefully sketching the eyes, and then we will move on to adding the small, dark pupils to give them life. We will begin by applying a little bit of subtle shading right here to create depth. Notice that there is a small fin located right there on the side. This specific part we are working on now is our primary dorsal fin, which is a key feature of the anatomy. Over here too, we can certainly add something extra to enhance the detail of the sketch. We have the underlying bones to guide our placement and ensure the proportions are anatomically correct as we continue to build out the form of this creature step by step. Next, we will focus on the very large and impressive fins. And for this specific fish, we will color in the fish's body, but as for those small spots, next the large fins. And for this fish, we will color in the fish itself, but leave the spots white. The first of these two aquatic creatures was characterized by a light-colored body covered in numerous dark spots, whereas the second one will be distinctly dark with contrasting light spots across its scales. To achieve this specific visual effect, we are going to carefully shade this particular fish using a graphite pencil, applying gentle pressure and layering the strokes just like this to create depth and texture. To finish our project, we can now add some beautiful bubbles just for extra decoration, and with that final touch, our little fish are ready to be displayed.